Hey gang, welcome to Mzansi and USA News. Now, my name is Zem for those of you who do not know it, and I would like to encourage you to subscribe to this channel and spread this video to as many as possible. Today's discussion is a subject that I have avoided for the longest time possible hitherto, and that is the videos that are being made, the onslaught by Nigerians on our beloved country, South Africa. Now, Nigerians are making videos on all social media possible, claiming to be victims, claiming that we are xenophobic. Today, I intend to prove, or rather to disprove, the theory that we are xenophobic and to prove why Nigerians are literally regarded as a curse of Africa. I'm going to do this in this video, even if it means I do it over 2 parts. We'll see as far as we go, how far we are going to go. The maximum cutoff time will be an hour for this video. And if it's longer than that, then I'll make a second video. Now, let's delve into the meat, not just the bone, the meat of what is happening with Nigerians. Here is a news reader from Nigeria telling a story how Nigerians were being deported, not from South Africa, from Turkey. How many years ago? 10 years ago? No, this very year that we are in 2024. Who's deporting them? Turkey, not South Africa. Pay attention to this.
We're live in Abuja, where deportees from the Republic of Turkey have arrived at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in the nation's capital. The reasons behind their deportation remain unclear, though many disgruntled returnees claim they were arbitrarily arrested and sent to deportation camps without justification. A contingent of officials from various federal agencies, including the Nigerian Police Force, the Nigerian Immigration Service, the Nigerian Emergency Management Agency, and NAPTIP, were on hand to receive the deportees. Originally scheduled to land at 5:30 p.m., the plane Southwind Airline flight TC-GRB, which was carrying approximately 103 males, touched down at 6:45 p.m. The delay was reportedly due to heavy resistance from the Nigerians in Turkey. Director of Migrant...
Heavy resistance from the Nigerians in Turkey. Why? They didn't want to leave Turkey. They didn't want to go to this country that they suppose it to be better than South Africa, right? They didn't want to leave Turkey. 103 men were deported by a Turkey government from Nigeria. This woman says the reason is not known. Well, the reasons will become clear as we go. Remember, she's a Nigerian, so she is supposed to say the reasons are not clear as to why they are deported, okay? That's part of patriotism, fake patriotism, okay? Now, let's go to the next video, where a different country, not Turkey now, deports Nigerians.
There was a video that came out of India where one of the Nigerian brothers, was showing that India has been mass deporting Nigerian people from their country. Let's go ahead and roll that.
So please, we are making this video for the Nigerian government to please, if truly they have the interest of Nigerians at heart, they will come to the head out, they will reach out to the Indian government for proper, at least, negotiation in order for these little children to go. While there are some other children over here who, some of them, they've lost their parents, some of them, their parents are in jail, and they need to go back home to reunite with their extended...
Did you guys hear that? India is deporting them. And once again, you may say, if you are Nigerian, the reason is not clear why India is deporting them, okay? Or you may accuse India of xenophobia, right? Okay. There is absolutely nothing they have done on their part to deserve this mass deportation. Did you hear the gentleman says some of the children amongst them have lost their parents? What does that mean? To lose your parent, it means your parent is dead. And then he goes on and says some of their parents are in jail. So you go to a foreign country like India and your parents ends up in jail. Why? Normally people in jail are people who practice lawlessness. Now, those of you who read the Bible, like myself, would know that all lawlessness is sin, right? And I'm putting this in there because they like to present themselves as godly, as the children of God, right? But yet every country they go to, every place they touch is filled with malevolence and tremendous evil. They are resisting the police of India in their country because they sort of take in their own country because they didn't want to leave. And listen to how they have been grasped by victimology. If Nigerian government really cares about their fellow countrymen, how did you end up in a country like India from Nigeria? They are there illegally. That's the reason why they are being deported. They are lying when they say it's not clear why. There is no country that deports people who are there legally. All countries in the world, including South Africa, that they are trying to diss in the world, welcomes foreigners that are here legally, follow proper channels, right? Let's leave Turkey now. Sorry, let's leave India now. We started with Turkey. Let's leave India now. Let's go elsewhere.
A total of 542 stranded Nigerians in the United Arab Emirates, UAE, have been repatriated by the federal government. They arrived in Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja on Sunday morning at about 4:29 a.m. The evacuees consisted of 79 males, 460 females and 3 infants. On arrival, the returnees were screened by health officials, profiled by various relevant agencies, and cleared by the Nigerian Immigration Service and given a token for logistics by NEMA. The Director General of NEMA, Mustafa Habib Hamid, who officially received the returnees on behalf of the federal government, admonished them to learn from their experiences and be law-abiding citizens that promote economic growth and positive image of Nigeria. Sharing their experiences, some of the returnees lamented the unavailability of work visa, which contributed to them being stranded in the country.
You have gone out.
Amazing. Really amazing. You are lamenting the unavailability of a work visa and you are already in that country. Nigeria is not at war. So you people are not asylum seekers. What are you doing in all of these countries? If Nigeria was a good, or rather let me put it this way, a well-governed country, wherein law-abiding citizens dwelt, we wouldn't be having this problem. You're talking about a country that is probably 20 to 25% of Africa's population. 260 million out of what is a billion to 1.3 billion according to estimates, because the people are not sure exactly. These are estimates. It's a good 18 to 25%, depending on what is the actual figure. And these individuals go around the world imposing themselves with their rotten culture everywhere. They don't want to assimilate, meaning they don't want to, when they are in Rome, to do as Romans do. This explains why you're seeing all these countries getting rid of them. Again, this is a different country, UAE. 542 of them were stranded in UAE. When have you ever heard that concerning South Africans? When? That 10 South Africans were stranded somewhere. When did you hear this? Because it never happened. That's why you would not have heard about it. Right? Now, let's move on. I'm just trying to show you few countries that have deported Nigerians, and you don't hear the noise on social media. What does that make Nigerians? A bunch of hypocrites. And what does that make those who, like the ignorant YouTube podcaster from America, who commented on this issue, and he has no business commenting about it. Why? How does a black man find himself in America? Please tell me. How does he find himself in America? And then he wants to tell us the nonsense that he was telling us. First and foremost, black people don't originate from America. Okay, I'm going to make a separate video about that, right? I don't want to talk about that in this video. It's just that it gets to a place where if you're listening to their theories online, you laugh, because I would say to myself, clearly this is a dunderhead. This is a hammerhead. This is an nincompoop. This person is suffering from having been dropped by their mother when they were an infant and they fell on their head, right? But at some point in time, once you say, this is now because of the stupidity, that's why I would make this observation I've just shared with you. But then you move away at some point in time and say, but wait a minute, this is no longer stupidity, it's malevolence. They are deliberately lying on purpose on our goodness and on our kindness as South Africans. If you care to know, we are a country of 61 million solid population. But only 40 million of that population is South Africans, and that's the truth. The majority is Nigerians, Zimbabweans, Mozambicans, Namibians, Basutus, Botswanas, you name it. The entire SADC region is here. The entire African continent. I've met Cameroonians in this country. I've met Egyptians in this country. There's not one single country from the African continent. And by the way, you can check even on YouTube. Some of them make YouTube videos. They are here in South Africa. South Africa is the only country in Africa that almost everybody in Africa has decided to come and reunite at. That does have limitation because according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, there is a constraint of resources. There is not a limitless resources. This is very, very important for you to understand. Now, I know Nigerians don't understand what I'm saying right now because you're talking about a highly uneducated group of people. But I'll share with you on a separate video because Nigerians, about 10 million children are out of school. You can fact check me on what I'm telling you. 10 million children in Nigeria are not in school. 27 million school-going Nigerians cannot be employed. Why? Because they have not been able to read for meaning and they have not been able to assimilate the knowledge that has been transferred to them. And guess what? 25% of their population is mentally unbalanced. I'm giving you receipts, which you can fact check for yourself. And some of them I'm going to show them to you in this very video. Okay, now let's go to the last country that's deporting. Observe, I have not shown you South Africa deporting Nigerians. Did you observe that? I'm going to show you one last more country. Not because it's the only country, no, simply because this video has a subject that I want to discuss with you. And it's not just about Nigerians being deported. I'm showing you that as a basis, as a foundation to give you the reasons why they're being deported everywhere. Okay? Brilliant. And once you get to that reason, you will come to the same conclusion. Therefore, South Africans can never be accused of being xenophobic if they are doing the same thing, because they are experiencing the same problems in their country because of these very Nigerians. Okay, let's move on.
Libyan authorities deported over 100 Nigerians back home on Tuesday. The migrants who voluntarily chose to return to Nigeria left the deportation office in Libya's capital, Tripoli. A spokesman for the Libya Anti-Illegal Immigration Department detailed the conditions under which some of the women who did not have a legal right to reside in the North African nation were arrested. Today on Tuesday, June 20th, 2023, legal immigrants of Nigerian nationality are being deported. Some of them were arrested on public roads while practicing begging. The deportation was supervised by the International Organization for Migration (IOM) as part of an ongoing joint program with the Libyan government to deport illegal migrants. Libya is a major starting point for migrants who wish to cross the Mediterranean to reach Europe.
Did you guys hear that? Did you hear that? Libya, our African brother in the north, deported 100 Nigerians. Did you hear an outcry that, oh, Libya is xenophobic? They are deporting their African brothers who looks like them. Did you hear an outcry? No, you did not. Do you know why you did not hear an outcry? Because it is not expected for Africans to unite in Libya, but it is expected for them to unite in South Africa. How hypocritical. How hypocritical can you be? Do you know why Nigerians are being deported from South Africa? Now, I'm not going to show you Nigerians being deported in South Africa because you already have many videos that are showing you that. Here is the reason why they are being deported. One of the reasons why they are being deported in South Africa. Here is the reason.
2 Nigerian nationals are on trial for kidnapping, human trafficking and rape in the South Gauteng High Court in Johannesburg. The pair are believed to be part of a syndicate. And please be aware that some of the following visuals are graphic.
With most human trafficking cases, the modus operandi is the same. In this matter, the victim was lured with the promise of employment in Gauteng. She was held captive at the alleged perpetrator's home and sexually exploited. A crime that preys on the vulnerable and desperate. The victim, one of several recruited from an impoverished community in Uppington in the Northern Cape. 23-year-olds Frank Anako and his co-accused Ilo Samadino, the alleged traffickers. Anako insists, though, he is innocent and maintains his roommate Jerry, who is still at large, was the mastermind.
I gave them the phone number of Jerry. Secondly, when we got to the police, I told them, please, can we wait a little bit and go back to the house and keep quiet for some time that Jerry will come in. But I told the police, but they refused.
During a month-long ordeal, she was allegedly drugged and repeatedly raped. The 21-year-old's services were advertised on websites like this.
It says...
Did you hear how they violated this young girl from South Africa, taking advantage of her need for work from Northern Cape? Northern Cape is a province in South Africa. And these Nigerians lured her into the province of Gauteng under false guise or false advert of a job, that she was going to get a job. And then what do? They drag her, which is their specialty. They are very good with cyber crimes. Then they drag her and then they rape her repeatedly. Did you hear that? Is there a brother that will do that to your children? Is there a brother that will do that to your fellow sisters? Why are we supposed to tolerate this? Please, all those who are not Nigerian by birth, who are on this bandwagon that we are xenophobic on the social media, why are we supposed to tolerate this? Did you not see the many countries I've just showed you that are deporting Nigerians? Do you want me to show you the endless sins that they are committing in these countries? Now you're going to tell us that, yeah, your fellow countrymen are committing the same sins. Really? Do you feel the same way when in America, a person from Haiti or Mexico comes in, rapes an American woman and kill her, and she's found dead once she left her house to jog? Do you feel the same way? Is that how you report in your news? That, oh no, this was an asylum seeker? There is no war in Haiti. Why would then this be an asylum seeker? What are these people doing in our country? There is no war in Nigeria. Furthermore, Nigeria is 5.5 hours away from South Africa with a 747 Boeing. It's far. So what are they doing in our country? They are here because they are scammers. They see South Africa as Canaan, the land of the promise, in the same way others in the world see America. So South Africa is to Africa what America is to the world. Save South Africa, because we are not flocking to America or any other country. Why? We've got it made here right at home. Make no mistake about it. We love our country. We love our rainbow nation. You may not believe on it. We don't care about what you believe. Okay? We genuinely don't care about what you believe. If you are going to be part of this country, you better be law-abiding. Otherwise, we are going to deal with you. Why? We are completely tone deaf to imbecilic behavior, to idiotic behavior, to moronic behavior. Anyone who calls us xenophobic is manifesting this behavior I've just told you about right now. They are probably suffering from the same thing that 25% of Nigerians are suffering from, a psychosomatic illness. Okay? We don't have that problem. Now listen to this.
Hello again. Now, living with a mental illness is challenging and it's a largely taboo subject in Nigeria. But a 25-year-old woman has formed an organization that's encouraging the use of social media to tackle the stigma. She was inspired by her own challenges to make a difference.
Hawa Ojefo is meeting with her support group in Lagos. They gather regularly to share their trials and their wins. In 2015, Ojefo was diagnosed as bipolar and with post-traumatic stress disorder. She'd been sexually assaulted several years before and battled to open up to her family and friends. After struggling to find a support group, she decided to form her own. She called the initiative She Writes Woman.
I remember having a conversation with a friend of mine in UK, and she was like, you know what, like, look for a support group. Like, over here there are support groups for different kinds of things, and it's very, I mean, the impact is really good and it helps people a lot. And I looked around and I didn't find any, and I'm like, you know what, then, and she's like, no, I just started really. And that was just what I did. I didn't overthink it or anything. I'm like, you know, it's fine. And in the first edition, we're just 2 people, you know, but that was very important. And the fact that one person showed up and I didn't even know the person, you know, it was very interesting to me.
The positive impact of her support group led to initiatives like a helpline, blog posts, and social media platforms in support of mental health awareness. But Ojefo and other mental health advocates have a tough job. Oinkansola Alabi is a licensed therapist who works mainly with professionals in Lagos.
When people say mental health, what an average Nigerian would hear, except you are exposed, whether through reading or through traveling, is that someone has run mad. And then our media has perpetuated that narrative also. When you watch movies or listen to a song, when people say colo mental or mental, it equals madness. So we cannot blame anybody at that level.
Nigeria established a mental health policy in 1991, but Alabi believes it will take about 2 more decades to change perceptions about mental health in the country.
In Nigeria, I don't think they really do seek for help. Some just die in silence, and some think they can maybe pray off the whole issue and get fine.
There's no job, there's no money. If there's a job, people can do, where people can manage. But because there's no job, a lot of people losing their job every day, and there's no hope.
Nigeria's Ministry of Health estimates up to 1% of the population suffers from some form of mental.
Because there's no job, a lot of people losing their job every day, and there's no hope.
Nigeria's Ministry of Health estimates up to 30% of the population suffers from some form of mental illness. It says the national suicide rate is on the rise. Ojefo is hoping to make...
I rest my case. Did you hear that according to their own estimation, it's higher than what the World Health Organization is saying? The World Health Organization is saying there's between 20 to 25% mental illness in Nigeria, but their own government is saying 30%. And I had someone from a Nigerian studio saying it's actually 75%. Now, hence I'm saying I rest my case because we do not know which is which. But Nigeria has, I showed you this video to demonstrate to you that Nigeria has no business talking about other countries. They've got problems of their own. 25% of 260 million people is a good 65 million plus. That's more than South Africa's population of people who are suffering from mental health. I agree with the psychiatrist who said earlier on in this video, mental health does not necessarily mean a person is sick, right? But, or rather, it doesn't mean that a person is mad. I agree with that. However, people who are mentally ill are suffering from an illness. They are sick. They may not be mad, but they are sick. And that sickness impairs their judgment in so many things. Did you hear the gentleman who's a health worker in this video, just before I stopped the video, said there's no jobs, and then he's trying to explain why so many Nigerians or so much ailment is prevalent on them. Did you hear that? That's actually very true. So when a person is mentally disturbed or mentally ill, they are suffering from some sort of a psychosomatic illness, they easily justify evil in their mind. They are easily absent-minded. Their presence of mind is not always available to them with all their faculties to literally respect another fellow human being. This is very, very important. Why is this important? Check this video.
Hi guys, I don't know if you've heard, but 2 Nigerian brothers are presently in prison in America for what is called sextortion. Sextortion is when somebody on the internet, usually on a social media platform, tricks someone else into sending them nude pictures or videos, and then they will demand for money or other things while threatening to share that picture or videos with the world if they don't give them what they asked for. Basically, they get you to send your nude pictures or videos, and then they will use it to blackmail you. So in 2022, these Nigerian brothers, 24-year-old Samuel Ogoshi, 21-year-old Samson Ogoshi, and a third suspect, his name is Ezekiel Roberts, used a hacked Instagram account of an American teenage girl to send messages to a 17-year-old high school student, Jordan DeMay, in Michigan. So they were pretending to be a beautiful girl that was interested in him, and they did all this from Nigeria, by the way, from Lagos, Nigeria. And while they were chatting with him, they convinced him, well, he thought that it was a girl that convinced him, but they convinced him to send nude pictures, and he did. And that was when they now revealed that they're actually scammers and that he must send them $1,000. If not, that they will send his nude pictures to all his Instagram friends, that they've already screenshotted all his followers on Instagram, and that going by his timeline, they know his school and they will send the pictures to his school. Unfortunately for Jordan, all this happened in the middle of the night. He started chatting with them at night. His parents were not aware that he was chatting with a fake girl. They were already in their room. He sent them all that he had, $300. And the Nigerian guy said it's not enough. They kept threatening him that they would release the pictures. The exchange went on for hours into the middle of the night. He begged them, they refused. And then he said to them that at this point he had no other option than to kill himself. And the Nigerian guys responded, "Good, do it fast, or I'll make you do it, I swear to God." So while his parents slept, in the middle of the night, they suddenly had a gunshot. Jordan killed himself that night. From the moment that they started chatting with him to the moment that he killed himself, it was 6 hours. During their investigation, the police looked through his phone, and then they saw his messages with the Nigerian guys. And so it became a federal case. FBI took over the investigation. They contacted the Nigerian government asking for them to send the suspects to the US for justice. The Nigerian government agreed, and they extradited the 2 brothers earlier this year. In April, they both pleaded guilty. And this month, September, they were both sentenced to 17 and a half years in prison. The third suspect, Ezekiel Roberts, is still fighting his own extradition to the US at the Nigerian court. So he's in court fighting not to be brought to the US.
So did you guys hear the level of malevolence of these individuals? This is a 21-year-old and a 24-year-old. Now, scientifically, a human brain is only fully developed at 26 years old. Here are people whose brains are not even fully developed, embroiled completely in all manner of malevolence. These are the individuals who are roaming our streets in Hillbrow, in Berea, in Renberg CBD, in Govan Beki CBD, what we call in Nelson Mandela Metropolitan, in Govan Beki as a street, the main street there, in Pulugwan, in Bumalang. Wherever you go, you find these individuals. And what are they doing? They are in salon business, right? Look, observe the cars they travel with, the places they stay in. How can you afford that with a salon? It's clear that they are fronting, okay? And what are they doing exactly? Exactly the same crimes. Cybercrime, selling the powder, which is drugs, right? And they are marrying South African women to steal what you call citizenship from South Africa via marriage so as to acquire a visa. They are literally playing the long game to steal the visas. And of course, in some instances, they don't even patiently wait, in that there is about 700,000 IDs that have been frozen in South Africa because of identity theft. And there are some people who are not aware of all of this, who think that when we say these individuals should go, we are being xenophobic. No, there is a definition for xenophobia. We don't hate Nigerians. We don't hate Ghanaians. These are our fellow Africans. We don't hate them. There are so many of them who are here illegally. But the percentage of those who are here illegally far exceeds those who are perpetrating these crimes. That is why we don't want those who are perpetrating these crimes. We have no problem with Nigerians who are here legally. Absolutely none whatsoever. But the fact that the WHO, and let me show you that. Can you see that? Now I need to pause this. This comes to us courtesy of Uncle P. Now, 1 in 5 Nigerians. Nigerian mental health crisis, a mind-boggling burden on 40 million minds. The World Health Organization, WHO, estimates that 20% of Nigerians, or around 40 million people, are affected by mental illness. You heard in this very video that I'm doing for you a clip that comes directly from their government saying it's actually 30%, right? And you'll hear from these two gentlemen in the studio, they think the rating may be higher. Check this out.
Hello again. Now, living with a mental illness is challenging, and it's a largely taboo subject in Nigeria.
According to mental health practitioners, 1 in every 10 Nigerians, which represents 25% of the population, suffer one form of mental disorder or another.
1 out of every 10 is not 25%. Anywhere in the world is 10%. So that's an error, but then he's right when he says 25%. Okay?
There was another study from MANI, which is Mentally Aware Nigeria Initiative, and EPI Africa also, and it said that 75% of Nigerians approximately have acute levels of anxiety. And it's obvious why, right?
I think it should be higher than 75%.
Well, maybe because it is.
Now remember that that's a mental illness. That causes people to be nervous, that causes people to anxiety. That means you are always anxious, right? That's when you make errors. That's when you do things that you would otherwise not do. You may even shoot people, do all manner of evil to people if you are always edgy as a person, okay? That is why there is a what to call an anxiety, mental disorder, right? You can check it out on the DSM if you want to verify what I'm telling you. The Diagnostic Statistical Manual, which is the Bible for psychology, that lists all the mental disorders, okay? Now, did you see what they did to the boy in America? The boy killed himself. This is the type of people that you are dealing with. They are extremely malevolent. They are completely aware that they are not well mentally, by the way. You think I'm making that up? Let me show you. You heard these two individuals talking about it with a smile and smiling about it, right? Let me show you one more video from Uncle P that touches on the same subject.
I have a question for South Africa. Why do y'all always want to beef with Nigerians? And then of all people in the continent of Africa, you want to fuck with is Nigerians. Are you mad? Do you know that we're not okay mentally? How you guys are seeing the news? You think we'd be like you people, just be walk over?
Did you hear that the girl is fully self-aware? Did you hear that? Many Nigerians are fully self-aware. And by the way, it demonstrates on their incoherent arguments they are making right now on Twitter. They are saying South Africa is a nobody, but they are fighting. Their fellow countrymen are fighting. They are threatening the police. They are fighting to remain in a country of nobodies. They are saying we are oppressed. They are fighting to be oppressed. Make that make sense, right? Nigerians have fallen prey of the error of mistaking humility with timidity, of mistaking our humility with cowardice. No, we are not. Look at our history. No Nigerian came to this country during apartheid and fought for us. There's not one single foreigner that came to this country to fight our battle. We did our own. We are not cowards. And if a need arises and you push us far enough, we will relieve the police of what they are doing. We are law-abiding citizens. But at some point in time, your nonsense, right, is going to drive South Africans to seek to take the law into their own hands. To prove to you, because you are busy agitating a group of individuals who are very loving, very embracing of other foreigners to live in their country. I've already told you about 20 million of those foreigners are here, including Nigerians who are here legally, and as many who are also illegal. So we are simply saying now we are under siege. We have so many of you in our country who are illegal, right? Zimbabweans, I've already mentioned the SADC. But for the purpose of this video, because Zimbabweans and the SADC region is not making ridiculous videos as I'm seeing Nigerians making, right? So you can see that Nigerians are not well. So we feel for them. We would want to help them. But hey, what do you know? What do you know? You can't argue with a lunatic. Remember that. You can't argue with loonies. Why? They are going to drag you to their level and beat you up with experience. So it is very, very important. That is the reason why we have not sought to argue with you. We have just watched you. But it's irritating that people can talk about such a beautiful country, such well-meaning group of individuals as South Africans, and you dare call us xenophobic. Do you even understand the meaning of the word? We have welcomed you to our country. You have decided to practice lawlessness, right? Everywhere Nigerians stay in South Africa is literally filthy, is turning into a slum, which is a clear representation of where they come from, right? As I said, I'll make a part 2 of this video. If I haven't said that in this video, I'm saying it right now, that there may be a need for me to make a part 2 of this video. Why? Nigerians are not individuals who should have placed themselves in a position to criticize us. We are not your peers. Not at all. We love you as your fellow countrymen, as fellow continent people, as fellow Africans. But there are demarcations in Africa. South Africa is a sovereign state. There was a reason why you came here. Okay? We don't have a comparison how many South Africans live in your country. And the question is, why would they be there in the first place, except they are there for business like ShopRite, like MTN and all that. And by the way, if you have a problem, because those people employ you, if you have a problem with them, of course, you can deport them. And they are there legally. So there is no comparison. That's pure madness, which again talks to the state of your mind. For you to say, if South Africans are deporting Nigerians, illegal Nigerians, then we must remove ShopRite and empty. ShopRite is not there illegally. ShopRite is an inanimate object. It's an entity that is there and is creating jobs for you. I mean, really, what manner of thinking is that? It makes absolutely no sense to me. My parting shot to my fellow countrymen: please consider the state of mind of the people that you are dealing with. These people are not well. Here's the evidence in front of you. I'll give you much more evidence. As my parting shot, I'll give you another video that demonstrates that these people are not well. Check this out.
The La Beach is arguably one of the best beaches in the country and situated at a crucial location in the capital. Scores of tourists come from far and near on special occasions for pleasure and relaxation. Its tourism potential and beauty is, however, at risk as the place is gradually being engulfed with refuse and human excreta as a result of open defecation. At the time of our visit, Zoil personnel were busily cleaning the beach. But that could not even deter the perpetrators, as they would go and squat, making work very difficult for Zoil. Meanwhile, two public toilets are just a stone throw away, But residents claim those facilities are not adequate and tidy.
The people used to come toilets. Majority, come on.
Christopher Okogogo is the assemblyman of Adiembra electoral area and also supervises soil activities at the beach.
A lot of the people who have come to squat from this side, they are from the town. And according to the assembly too, has done his best to make the public to know that there's a public toilet around the communities. They should go there and then do their own baths. They refuse. We are trying our best. We are working hard. Actually, Zoe has worked hard.
People who do not know the purpose of a public toilet are uncivilized. They are not in a position to talk against people who are as advanced and developed as South Africans. No, 1,000. I refuse completely. 1,000 times no. Now, am I bragging about this? Well, it's very important for people to understand that South Africa is a very well-developed country, very civilized nation, okay? Yes, there may be poor amongst us, and the reason for that is the influx of these foreigners. The amount of crime on our roads, extortion and all that, where do you think that crime comes from? It comes from Nigerians. Part 2, I will focus on the different types of crimes that Nigerians perpetrate all over the world. Why do you think when they come to South Africa, they'll behave any differently? Not only all over the world, even here in South Africa. That will be part 2 here. So when you talk about the crime of extortion, the crime of murder, the 419 scams, the hijackings with explosives of cash in transit, all such nonsense comes from Nigerians, okay? As I have already said, people who are suffering from some psychosomatic illness, they do not value human life. People who are always high on drugs and who literally can drag a girl for more than 20 days and rape her repeatedly, these are animals. And the world is telling us, when we are saying these animals should leave our country because they're here undocumented, and they're even threatening our army and the police, which is a futile exercise, because that's to their detriment. Our army will unalive you, and you will have no recourse on the matter. Okay? But I don't want to get to that stage. You'll have absolutely no recourse on the matter. None whatsoever. I had the folly of what is the president of Nigeria threatening Ramaphosa. No, that is a joke. It's a serious joke. That's like Xi Jinping threatening Joe Biden. Yeah, Joe Biden is mentally ill, okay? We can all know that. Xi Jinping has got 1.4 billion people there. America has got 350 million people. But we already know if there were to be a war, what's going to happen between the two countries. It would be folly. That's why they are doing what they are doing with diplomatic ties concerning America. If it depended on them, they would have long went into a hot war with America. The reason for the Cold War all these years is because they know that it might be a small population, but my goodness, remember the dollar is far stronger. Okay, I said that to say this to you. 1 rand is equal to 100 naira. Please don't forget that. So before you consider threatening our president, consider that Mr. Ramaphosa, consider that the president of Nigeria lives in a country where 30% of the people are suffering from a mental illness. We are not aware if the president of Nigeria himself is not part of that 30%. To my fellow countrymen, can you see how indecent these individuals are? So, don't let your temperatures rise. Ignore them. They are worthy to be ignored, because their experience in malevolence, in folly, only deserves to be dealt with by our police and our psychiatric hospitals. And they should be deported so that they can be taken care in their own country with their own taxpayers' money. Until part 2, let me love you and leave you. Tell me what you think down below. Okay, ciao, ciao. Bye for now.